to Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with a gaming twist. I'm your host Clifton, and welcome to another Thursday night live stream, the first live stream of the new year. So I'm very excited to be back with you guys. It's been a great holiday. I was back in the Carolinas for 2 weeks actually. It's been a while since I've been able to go back that long. So I did a bit of bourbon and whiskey hunting while I was out and about. So these bottles are all pickups from that trip. Some of them are, actually pretty much all of them are ones that some of you have been able to get in various states, and I just haven't found in Southern California. So I'm very excited to have a chance to finally try some of these favorites from you guys. So that's what today's stream about. If you're watching live, hello in the chat. I see some folks hanging out already. RIP Shy Guy, Tony, Taste and Sensibility, Matthew Parks. Great to see you guys showing up early on a Thursday. If you're new here, I know quite a few people joined from my top whiskeys of the year video that I put out last week. Glad to see all the comments on that and all the likes and stuff like that. So if you are new, feel free to say hello. I turned on subscriber only mode for the chat, which is what I usually do, only because it keeps the bots out. Otherwise, the bots will infiltrate the chat. You only have to be a subscriber for 1 minute to be able to live chat with us. So feel free to do that. Or if you're watching the replay, leave a comment down below your thoughts on these whiskeys. But let's go ahead and get something in our glass because I haven't had any whiskey today and I'm very, very excited for it. One little disclaimer. The wind outside is really bad. We're experiencing our windy season here in Southern California. It typically locks out our, or kicks out our internet. It's been in and out all day. So if for any reason the stream disconnects, stick around. It should come back and go back live again. I'm recording it just in case it goes out and then I have to upload it later. But hopefully we'll be all good. So if you are enjoying the stream and you notice it starts to cut out, just let me know in the chat. Be like, hey, your video is cutting out or whatever, just so I'm aware because I can't usually see it on my screen when that's happening. So that would be appreciated, but I will hopefully be all good. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. I have an order kind of picked out for this, just to kind of go up in proof, and just some of these are kind of related to each other. But yeah, I think the first I'm going to start with is a bottle that everyone has been raving about. It's one that I never got my hands on. So my Costco is actually one of the ones that gets a lot of good whiskey. But the thing is, it's well known that it gets a lot of good whiskey, so it sells out very, very quickly. So I see empty shelves all the time of good bottles, but I never actually see the good bottles. So this one was one of the first ones I picked up when I was in South Carolina. Funny enough, I went to a Costco there and they were sold out of it, but I went to the liquor store across the street and they had it. So I finally picked up the new Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Heritage series. Now this is not the same as the one that came out a few years back. That was a special release. This one is going to be a regular addition to their lineup. Pricing was about $65. It's a 100 proof toasted Jack Daniel's product. So I'm excited to get into this one. This one is the lowest proof one of the night. So I figured I will start with this one because I'm very excited to see. Oh, apparently it's it's choppy. Okay, yeah, I knew that may happen, so just bear with me. But if it completely cuts out, let me know. I see some more folks showing up today. I see Bourbon Before Bacon. Cheers to you. Zopher's here. What's up, Alfonso? Emily, and yeah. So Jack Daniel's. You know what's funny is actually I realized that I was supposed to do the other. I said like I have an order figured out, and then I skipped ahead to this one, but we're gonna do it anyways. There's another one that I would have preferred to do this before, but it's okay. It's okay. So what I'm going to do is pour myself some of this. Now, I do have a New Year's resolution for myself. It's to control my pours on these live streams. As you know, likes to just like freehand pour into his glasses. And things sometimes get a little messy. So I have myself a little, it's actually Elijah Craig branded, which will be relevant later. Little Elijah Craig jigger here. So I'm going to try to do half an ounce. We'll see. We'll try to do half an ounce to start with. See if that's enough to get us through the tasting. Then, of course, at the after party, we might have a few freehand pours as well. But I'm trying to be better, guys, because during these streams, I tend to over pour. So I limited myself to 3 Glencairns and half an ounce. We might pour more than half an ounce. We'll see how it goes. Remember to fuel the bus. Well, I fuel the bus with pure alcohol. Clifton Control 2026. There we go. Yeah, Clifton, not Cliffy. But yes, so this is, if you're curious, about half an ounce worth in my Independent Joe glass. Another amazing whiskey tube channel here. Yeah, so 100 proof toasted barrel. Let me pull up the page to see if there's any more info on the website. It says this will be released year round as part of the Jack Daniel's single barrel collection. 100 proof, matured at least 7 years in their highest elevation rick houses, which means it's going to be a lot of that darker flavors you get from those higher elevations. And then it says, it does say it's toasted, but there's no info here on their website about how long they toast. It says it's a heavy toast. I don't have any information in terms of how long that toast is, but that's the info we have for this bottle. Let's go ahead and give it a nose. I heard so Adriana and Michelle from Women of Whiskeys were tasting this as one of their favorites of 2025, and I told them that I had just picked up a bottle, so I'm excited to finally give it a try. Let's give it a nose. Okay, a little bit different than typical Jack. It definitely has a bit of a sorry, I was checking my text to make sure it was not you guys texting me that I was not live. So it has, yeah, YouTube is not, oh, come on. I am having some issues right now. I'm losing the, okay, it might be back. The chat keeps cutting out. It's all good. We're gonna keep going for it. Again, sorry. The wind kicks out our internet all the time. It's really frustrating. Anyways, it's similar in the nose to Jack Daniel's, but it almost smells even less like Jack than Jack Daniel's, like the higher proof offerings. It doesn't have that really rich banana nut bread kind of note that I love about Jack Daniel's. It actually, to me, almost smells a little bit more like a typical Old No. 7 Jack Daniel's, just a standard regular release. It is 100 proof, so it is a lower proof release. But, sorry, I see the comment about knocking out the audio. Sorry. Yeah, it's got a decent amount of ethanol, a little bit of banana, but it's less of like a banana nut bread and more of like a banana runts. So, yeah, let's go for a taste. Cheers. Ooh, oh wow, that's toasty. I guess they weren't kidding with the heavy toast. Wow. Honestly, that sweet vanilla marshmallow flavor that comes with the toasted bourbon or toasted Tennessee whiskey, apologies to the loyalists out there, it's kind of has a bit of a dominating effect here. It's almost completely overshadowing the whiskey itself. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just that's what I'm noticing at first. That toast, like I wouldn't guess on first sip that that's a Jack Daniel's. To me, on the palate, that comes across more of like a heavily toasted, maybe just a different whiskey brand. It doesn't come across as Tennessee whiskey. Tony says the shirt looks more like the Cliffy Van than the bus. Oh yeah, this is a Stranger Things shirt. I just finished season 5 last night. I was avoiding social media to avoid spoilers for so long, just because I didn't want to watch it over the holidays. I wanted to wait till we were back home to watch it. And I finally finished the final season, the final episode last night, and what a ride. What a ride that show was. I started watching it when I was just graduated from college and just finished it now. So yeah, put on this shirt as a tribute for that show. Alfonso says you like toasted marshmallow. Oh, I absolutely love it. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's a strong note, but it doesn't taste like Jack Daniel's. Let me get a second sip real quick. Now that I've acclimated to that intense toasted element, there's quite a bit of that banana, but again, it's not reading like that heavily dark, rich banana bread that the Jack Daniel's single barrel proofs, which is one of my favorite barrel proof whiskeys ever. It doesn't have that. It's a little thinner. It does have a little bit of tinglies in the back of the throat. I mean, it definitely, you can tell it's 100 proof. I will say, first impressions, again, this is just my opinion. I like this. Quite a bit as a new introduction to the Jack Daniel's lineup, but I still think I prefer Jack Daniel's single barrel bourbon before this one. I think the cask strength, the higher proof releases, to me, are more worth it. I mean, they're about the same price, at least in my area. I can get those for around $65 as well. So while this is a fun one, I love the new toast element and the layers that it brings. I think for me personally, this is going to be kind of like a buy every once in a while kind of bottle. I do like it. What do you guys think? Have you guys had this one yet? I'm a fan of it, but it just, it's very, very heavily toasted. So if that's your jam, this might be a favorite for you. But yeah, I like it. I'm curious to hear if have you guys had this one? I know it's relatively available, but Just something states like I said here in Los Angeles, I could not find it anywhere. But people were like, "What do you mean you couldn't find it?" Hmm. Thank you, Emily, for dropping the Women of Whiskey stream. Yes, you go check them out. They go live on Monday nights, so always good to enjoy one of their shows whenever I'm able to make it. Yeah. By the way, if you're curious, they do put the info on the bottle here about the different batches and barrel numbers, like they do with the cast strength one. So you can see that was barreled on 7/7/17. Look, lucky numbers. That's kind of fun. So they said it's at least 7 years old. RIP Shy Guy said, I saw JD Heritage everywhere and turned them all down. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to try it. I was glad to finally have a chance to try it. It's just the price is up there. Tony says, I'm a fan. Twice today it's come up, and I have 15 hours before I can try it again. Oh, you're doing a dry week, right? Oh, man. You got it. I hate to, like... maybe you can just watch this content. I mean, maybe a few of you are doing dry January. If you're doing dry January, let me know in the chat. Maybe you get your enjoyment from watching someone else drink. Well, that's what I'm here for. Stick to your goals. So in addition to measuring my pours on the streams, I'm also trying to, like, cut back in general. So, like, I downloaded an app. This is not sponsored. I think it's called Reframe. I saw an ad for it, but it lets you enter in like how much you're drinking a day, and like it slowly suggests like cutting back a little bit. So just started it yesterday. I'm a little bit behind the dry January. I'm not trying to completely cut out alcohol. I think I have a relatively healthy relationship with it, but I think I'd like to be a little bit more of a what do you call it? Like a conscious drinker. Like you're thinking about like every pour. So sometimes on Thursday nights I get a little crazy, but I just want to be more cognizant of how much I'm drinking. So I downloaded it. I'll let you know how it goes. Again, I just started it yesterday, so not a sponsorship, but if you guys want to, I don't know if an app for controlling drinking or stopping drinking is a good partner for me to partner with here on the channel. I guess maybe if it's all about like the reframing on like the less alcohol maybe, but the more you guys drink, the more you come here. That's awful. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. Let's go. Let's go and keep moving. Adam's here. What's up, Adam? Good to see you. Jump on the bus. Cheers. Yes. Thank you so much. Tony said, ain't no way I'm using the app. I'll call the ATF on me. At some point, disappointment becomes a sense of impressed with how much you drink. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to be conscious of how much you're drinking. Like, you know, sometimes like you sit back and like you have a pour and you're like, oh, I want another pour. And you just don't think about it. So like, that's my goal is to think about it and realize how much I'm drinking and just, I don't know, not like regain control, but regain consciousness of it, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense to you guys. It's just how I'm thinking about it. Brandon's here. What's up, man? No worries. We just drank the Jack Daniel's Heritage. I was just saying I like it. I think I would rather have the barrel proof option from Jack Daniel's or of course the 12 or 14 year or 10 year. But it's good. It's just not something I'm going to be reaching for regularly. So that's all you missed. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our next whiskey. So this is actually the one I meant to do first because there was a reason I was going to do that. But don't worry about it. It's gone now. This one actually, so I'm cheating a little bit with this one. This one I pre-ordered and I had it waiting for me. So yes, it technically was one I picked up while over the holidays, but it's technically the one that was available at a store here. This is the newest edition of Penelope Estate Collection. This is a 10-year-old private selection. You'll see the info there. Come on, focus. Yeah, there you go. There you go. This is a 10-year-old private selection coming in at 106.8 proof. Of course, Penelope is out of Indiana, so this is Ross & Squibb's distillate, 10-year-old Indiana bourbon. Now this one, again, it's not cask strength, it's just a 106.8 consistent proof for this release, but a 10-year-old Indiana bourbon. You will notice a 10-year-old Indiana bourbon actually made my top 10 whiskeys of the year list, and it wasn't this one, so stick around, go watch that replay if you haven't seen it. But this one comes in at about $80. Like I said, I had to pre-order it, so it's not readily available, at least in my area in Southern California. It was kind of like a first come, first serve kind of situation. Penelope out here, but most of it is usually there's the Architect series we see quite a bit of. Then there's the, we do see some single barrel picks of it, but nothing at the 10-year age statement. So I'm very, very excited to give this a try for you guys. I love me some older Indiana bourbon, and Penelope usually does a really good job with it. So let's go to get that poured. Got my half ounce here. Brandon said I agree 100%. Definitely not bad for 55 at Costco. Oh, nice. So I never found it in my Costco. That's kind of part of what I was saying in my story too, is like my Costco just never had it. So I actually found it when I was in South Carolina. I paid 65 for it. So 55 is not bad. I still think I'd rather have a single barrel proof personally. RB Shy Guy says, last year's estate was so good. This is my first time having it, so I'm very excited. Alfonso says, logging in and journaling alcohol consumption or food does help for holding yourself accountable. Yes, speaking of which, I'm also doing the same with food. I'm using the Lose It app. Again, not sponsored. Just to track calories. So this year is all about cognitive, thinking, eating, drinking, just keeping track of things and being aware. Even my budget, I'm actually doing it with my budget too. So I don't know. I'm just at least starting off the year trying to keep track of things, being mindful. Mindfulness. I was saying cognitiveness. I think mindfulness is the word I was looking for. Mindful drinking, mindful eating. There we go. That sounds way better than cognitive. Big Vic in the chat. What's up, Big Vic, man? It's been a minute. I hope you were doing well. Happy New Year, my friend. Happy New Year to all of you that I haven't talked to yet this year. It's the first live stream of the year, so I forget that some of you guys, a lot of you are on Discord. So if you're on my Discord server, I definitely have probably talked to you. If you guys are not yet on the Discord server and want to join our amazing community there, there's a link in the description to bourbonbites.com, which is my home for everything on the internet, including our Discord server, where you can join. Everyone has access to the main server, but people that are part of the Bite Club or Patreon members get access to some VIP rooms like our monthly movie night and our after party hangout. So, but if you want to join our Discord server, come join us. It was a lot of fun talking to you guys over the holidays while I was traveling. All right, so this is the Penelope 10-year estate collection, estate edition, estate collection. By the way, gorgeous bottle. I don't know if you saw that, but really, really nice bottle. I mean, it looks like a premium bourbon, so commend them for that. Love the look of it. Let's go ahead and give this a nose. Ooh, okay, yes. All the things that I love about older Indiana bourbon. It always has a vintage note, almost like an old library or a bit of a grandma's attic kind of note sometimes I talk about. It's just that really rich, a little bit dusty, a little bit vintage kind of note that only comes out on older bourbons, at least in my experience. It's like opening up an old book and, the puff of dust comes out. That's kind of what it reminds me on the nose, but beyond that, there's a really nice sweetness, a little bit of a bright sweetness. It's vanilla, but it's a little more of a sweetened vanilla, like a candy vanilla. Lovely nose, delicious. I can't wait to give this a try. So let's do that now. Cheers. Wow, man. I'll say if I would have had that before the end of the year, there's a good chance that would have been on my top whiskeys of the year. This is now a contender for 2026. That is delicious. Really sweet. That sweet, bright candy vanilla kind of transformed into a bit of a honey. One of my favorite things is a honey stick. You get the whether you're at a flea market or a swap meet, it's the flavored honey sticks. I used to get them all the time as a kid. Funny enough, I actually got one in a cocktail over the holidays. It was it was funny because it was a smoky cocktail. It wasn't anything that you would expect honey in, but it had a honey stick in it. And that immediately brought me back to my childhood. Well, this has that really sweet, almost candied honey kind of note to it on the palate. Lovely. I love that a lot. Going back into it, beyond that sweetness, there's oak, but it's not an overwhelming oak. It's not like this tastes like a very high, intense bourbon like that toasted Jack Daniels did. It's actually really balanced. I feel like the oak is very complementary to the sweetness. It's not youthful. It's also not really tannic. It's just really balanced, and it just is such a good pour. Man, I see why this whiskey is hyped, and I see why it had to pre-order, because I would most definitely buy another bottle of this just based on this first impression alone. What a delicious pour. Let me go in for one last sip. Yeah. I have no complaints. Yeah, I would like to see it maybe at cast strength versus the 106.8, but and $80 for a 10-year Indiana bourbon, I think that's a great price. Now, I did say the one that was on my list was a $45 bourbon that was a 10-year Indiana, but that one was a lower proof. I think it was an 84 or 90. So that one was significantly lower proof. I would pay the 30-ish bucks extra to get this at higher proof. So yeah, that's delicious. Penelope, this one, Penelope Estate Edition is a winner in my book. I'm a big fan of this, so check it out if you find it. Or pick it up if you find it, is what I meant to say. Check it out if you find it. Ah, that's it. You know what I mean. All right, so back to the toasted. Again, I got a little mix up in my order here. We're going to move to another toasted bourbon. This is one that I had heard about, and I thought it was just a rumor because there was no way. I'd never even seen a label for it. I'm like, there's no way that this is a real product. But lo and behold, visited a liquor store in South Carolina, saw it. So first of all, I saw their regular pick of this barrel proof bourbon, and I almost picked up their regular pick. But for the same price, or maybe it was like $10 more, they had this bottle that I had never seen before. This is a private barrel select of Elijah Craig toasted barrel proof bourbon. This is a 9-year-old 122.8 proof pick from Green's Beverages out of Greenville, South Carolina. So I saw this label. I'm like, I've never seen that Elijah Craig label before, but they do exist. Yeah, I'm very excited to give this a try. This is one that's been out pretty much at least a year, I think, but I never saw a pick make it here to Southern California. I believe Brandon found one at one point, but it was a little expensive, so I passed on it at the time. I'll finish off this pour real quick. Drink water, homies. Yes. So we have our water glass here. Water break. Adam says that he also put up the 10-year estate barrel and it's delicious. Okay, I'm glad to hear. Shy Guy said, got to try the Discovery 13 over the holidays. Incredible pour. Well, that one was definitely on my top 10 list. So if you missed that, go check it out. Discovery 13 is, I still haven't found a full bottle of it, but I am looking. So I will pick that up as soon as I walk by it in the store. One of my top 3 of the year. All right. But yes, I've never had a chance to try the toasted Elijah Craig barrel proof. I've tried the toasted Elijah Craig regular. I've tried the toasted rye Elijah Craig regular, but not the barrel proof offering. So I'm very excited to give this a try for you guys. The cheapest one I found was $120, said Brandon. Yeah, so it's either 90 or 100. It was right around there, but again, I had to pick it up. It was the same price basically as their single barrel regular. Shy Guy says they got it on the shelves here. Yeah, it is available here. It's just I haven't been to a liquor store since I've been back, so trying to cut back on spending. But when I do see it, I will absolutely pick up a bottle of it. I just had a media sample that I reviewed for the live stream. Yeah, so this is the Elijah Craig toasted barrel proof bourbon. Like I said, 9 years old, 122.8 proof, I think. Let's go for a nose. Look at the color on that. It's so dark. It's hard to tell. It's just like a half an ounce, but that's a really dark pour on that one. Ooh, and toasty, but it's not all toast. It's not all just that smoky vanilla thing or marshmallow thing. There's a lot of sweetness here that's a little bit more traditional. The caramel, the vanilla. I think I'm gonna like this. Cheers. Oh, yes. I'm a fan of the Elijah Craig toasted barrel, just the regular 94 proof bourbon. This amps it up to 122. This is really great. It really shows you what a solid, well-aged, high-proof bourbon can be when an extra layer of toast is added. I will say, this kind of... Okay, let me rephrase that. That being said, some of the flaws I have with the single barrel selects of Elijah Craig barrel proof at the younger ages, closest to like 9-10 years old, this still has some of those flaws. I feel like the finish is pretty light and thin. The flavor, the palate is incredible. I love the palate. There's a hint of that sweet vanilla marshmallow smokiness on the back end that almost feels like it's going to be a long finish, but it doesn't linger. And that's kind of a little bit disappointing. I kind of wanted this to stay on the palate a little bit longer. I'll go for another sip just to make sure. Again, tip of the tongue, mid palate, everything I love about Elijah Craig. Heaven Hill is one of my favorite distillery. Their distillate at high age and high proof is fantastic. I just don't think that the toasted element helps save these being younger picks. And I think that's kind of how I felt about the younger Elijah Craig store picks in general. I love Elijah Craig barrel proof. The batches, even the younger batches, I've been a fan of everyone that I've had a chance to try, but the single barrel store picks have been hit or miss for me. This one, while I think it tastes great, doesn't linger like I want it to. Elijah Craig has been one of the whiskeys that I have always found to be, at least when I first started out my whiskey journey, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof to me was the perfect bourbon. It was high proof, highly aged, long finish, and great price. Price has gone up, age has gone down, proof has been about the same, but so far, at least of this experience, the finish just kind of lets me down a little bit. That being said, I'm glad I had a chance to try it. Again, one that I never saw in Southern California, so I'm so glad that I picked up a bottle when I was in South Carolina. So cheers to Green's Liquor. Yeah, that's a nice one because I don't think it's not hot, even though it's 122.8 proof. It doesn't drink hot. Yeah, that's good. Would I buy it again? Maybe if I saw a different. Maybe if I saw it at a higher age and maybe higher proof, then I'd give it another try. I don't think proof is the issue. I think the 9 years might be the issue here and the price. So, but glad I had a chance to try it. Yeah, okay, Bourbon Before Bacon is agreeing. I love the toast too, but not the back end. Same great palate. Thank you. Oh, you're saying that the whiskey had a great palate, not me. Oh, I thought that was a compliment. Man, I'm just kidding. Shy Guy says, always say last couple of years Elijah Craig have not impressed me. They have impressed me, but not as much as they used to. Like I said, used to be one of my absolute favorite bourbons of all time. A little bit let down in recent releases. I haven't had the most recent batch of the barrel proof, the C924. Haven't had a chance to find that. I've looked for it. I looked for it in the Carolinas. I looked for it in SoCal. I reached out to the brand rep. Have not gotten that release. So no idea how that one is. But I will say, this next whiskey I'm going to pour, I am just as excited for. Because it's another Elijah Craig. So this is one that is a new product for them. It came out last year towards the end, I think September of 2025. They had their very, very first release of this ever. And I was so excited to get my hands on it, and then I never saw it. I again reached out to the brand rep that I have at Heaven Hill, didn't hear back. But when I was traveling to South Carolina, just happened to see this on the shelf and knew I had to pick it up because I'd never seen it before. This is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Rye Whiskey. So this one's coming in at 12 years, 3 months, batch number A925, 108 proof. This is the very first batch of this ever released. And I am so excited to give it a try. So, I will say, I did try it. I think I tried it over at the It's Bourbon Night meetup. I think Tony, if you remind me if I'm right, I think Perry brought it, or Perry's friend brought it. So I did try it, but that was after trying a lot of other whiskeys. So it kind of like, don't really remember exactly how that went. But I did have a chance to try this, but I'm excited to finally take some time and sit down with it and give it a full review. W2F, what is that about? that it exists? Did you not know it existed? Or sorry, I just realized my thermostat is set up to like 73, which I'm like burning up in here with all these lights. So turn that down. Here we go. Let's get it blowing in here. Oh, Kyle brought it. That's right. Yes, thank you. Shy Guy said, I really need to pick up some Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Rye. I love the regular rye. Yeah. Oh, so you can find it. Oh, well, lucky you. I couldn't. I first time seeing it ever was in South Carolina. I forget where I picked this up. I think it may have been closer to Fort Mill, closer to the, I think State Line Beverage might be where I got this from. But I was very excited to see it. So, let's go to get that poured. I also, funny enough, I bought a bottle of, Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond, and it came with this really cool Glencairn that says Heaven Hill on it. So we're going to be drinking out of that one for this release. Also, our Heaven Hill Jigger. You can tell I'm a little bit of a Heaven Hill fanboy, but you just listen. I've always been that way. I was born to be a Heaven Hill fanboy. I don't know. Can't say that, but all right. Got my half ounce there. Some nice color on that as well. It's not as dark as the Toasted, which makes sense, but it is older, so we do have that going for it. Oh, by the way, Alfonso said hit the like button. Yes, if you guys have not yet, hit the thumbs up. It does help out the channel a ton. I know I say that every stream, but it really does help it get picked up by the algorithm and just brings more people to the channel to check it out. So if you're not yet hit the thumbs up, it does mean a lot here. So let me show you this real quick. So color-wise, it's dark, but it's not nearly as dark as the Toasted was, which makes sense. My My wife has a mellow corn t-shirt she loves. The Heaven Hill gift shop was cute. I would love to see a mellow corn barrel proof or aged mellow corn. So they did a 19-year-old corn whiskey. Heaven Hill released as a special release. I had a chance to try that. So it was the same mash bill as mellow corn, but it was 19 years old. I tried it at a whiskey festival. It was good. Don't think it was worth the price. It was very much up there in price. But it was fun to try a high proof, highly aged mellow corn. Katie Turk in the chat. Katie, good to see you. Man, it's been some folks showing up. I'm wondering, okay, I'm having a feeling that me uploading my top whiskeys of the year video reset the algorithm for people, because I saw multiple people comment that they haven't seen my videos recommended to them in like a year. So I'm wondering if something happened when I uploaded that video. It kind of reset things. So we're seeing a lot of folks, familiar faces, but faces I haven't seen in a while, show up tonight. So thank y'all, seriously, for tuning in. It does mean a lot. Cheers to you, Katie, and cheers to everyone. Tony said I did, in fact, hit the like button. Well, thank you, Tony. All right, let's go for a nose of the Elijah Craig Toasted Rye Barrel Proof. Ooh, okay. So Elijah Craig's Rye Mash, or Heaven Hill's Rye Mash Bill, they have Pikesville, they have Rittenhouse, they have Elijah Craig Rye. I'm a fan of all three. I think all three of them serve a purpose. But this is the highest, well, actually, so what's funny, this was only 108 proof, right? 108 proof? Technically, this is lower proof than Pikesville. Pikesville is, I think, 114 proof. So it's a lower proof, of course, higher age. I think Pikesville is 7 years old. So it's older than Pikesville. But it's interesting that they released this at a lower proof than Pikesville. Curious why they potentially did that. Do you guys have any thoughts, theories? Now, the regular Elijah Craig Rye is bottled at the 94 proof that we normally see it. But I think it's interesting that they have the Pikesville Rye coming in at 114 proof, higher proof than this. Maybe it's because it's younger? I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe it just wasn't, maybe they targeted lower proof barrels for this batch. I don't know, but what I will say, that is a fantastic nose. I love this mash bill. I have a feeling I'm going to love this pour. Let's try it. Cheers. Man, that is what we've been missing from the Elijah Craig lineup. I think ever since they released Elijah Craig Rye, I begged and hoped and pleaded that there was going to be a barrel proof edition of Elijah Craig Rye. Now that we finally have it, and now that I've had a chance to try it, they better keep this up. It is so good. It is everything I love about their rye mash bill, but with older age. This is the oldest rye I've had from Heaven Hill, and it's probably one of the best ones I've had. Delicious. Now, if you listen to my podcast, which, by the way, I have a podcast, you can listen to it on wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Bourbon Bites Podcast. I did a news story about a TTB label for a special edition Rittenhouse Rye 10-year-old that's coming out probably next year. It's a celebration of 1776, the birth year of the United States. But they're releasing a 10-year-old bottle and bond 100 proof Rittenhouse. So that's going to be an older rye expression as well. So if it's anywhere near as good as this 12-year-old expression is, I'm definitely going to have to keep an eye out for that one. So this is amazing. I think if I would have tried this again last year, it probably would have been a contender in my top 10 whiskeys of the year. But because I tried it for the first time in 2026, means that it's now a contender in my whiskeys of the year. Hopefully they do release more batches of it so I can feature, maybe do a blind flight of all the Elijah Craig barrel proof rye batches back to back. Again, Heaven Hill, if you want to add me back to your PR list, that would be great. I say that, those of you that have been watching for a while know, I used to get every release of Elijah Craig barrel proof, but then towards the end of last year, somehow fell off the list. But it's all good. I appreciate that they are sending it to other creators, but I'd love to sneak my way back onto that list and get future batches of this, because I would love to do a flight of all the Elijah Craig barrel proof ryes. It could have been a contender, exactly. Brandon says, Bourbon Bites, time for a barrel proof rye stream. Well, that would be very convenient, because our last whiskey tonight is another barrel proof rye. So I'm gonna go ahead and, so the problem with this is, like, I was trying to limit myself with 3 Glens, but the problem is it's hard to rinse them with a full glass of water. Okay, made a little mess, but. So yes, absolutely would love to do a barrel proof rye stream with you, Brandon. Speaking of which, Brandon, I do owe you. You gave me some dates, I think, and I don't know if I ever got back to you for a future stream. So let's chat. Definitely available this month. I know our local whiskey group is trying to do a meetup this month too. So whatever doesn't conflict with that, we can make it happen. All right. So again, a bottle that came out towards the very last year, never saw it on the shelves here, but happened to just be walking down the rye aisle at I think it wasn't Frugal McDougal, which is a store out of Charlotte, and it's out of Tennessee and out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. But it was O'Darby's, which is a local liquor chain in the Rock Hill area, which is my hometown. So I saw this in the rye section. I was like, oh my God, that just came out. This is the new Woodford Reserve Barrel Strength Rye Whiskey. Comes in the same bottle as their like Master's Collection, 125.1, which indicates or proves, come on, if you'll focus, this is a really heavy bottle, so please focus. Come on, focus. It's so heavy. I'm gonna drop it. I don't want to drop it. Oh my God, my hand's shaking. Okay. Quick look. 125.1 proof. It's still not going to focus. Oh well. You see it enough. Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. This is a limited edition release. Like I said, just came out with this for the first time, and I've heard really good things about this. So this is going to be a very, very much fresh crack. There we go. First impression of this one. Now, Woodford's rye whiskey, I have thoughts. So remember when Woodford Reserve came out with those like 3 different whiskeys? They had like the triple mash, then they had the bonded rye, and then the bonded was it a wheat whiskey? They did like the three bottles, right? I thought those were fun experiments, but because they were standard Woodford Reserve proof, really didn't fall in love with any of them. But I will say, another Brown-Forman distillery that makes a rye whiskey, Old Forester Rye Whiskey, is one of my favorite whiskeys. So I have no idea how this is going to compare to Old Forester Rye, but if it's anywhere as close to their barrel proof offering, I know I'm going to like this. So curious if you guys have seen this in the store yet. It's relatively new. Beautiful color on that, by the way. A little bit darker than the Elijah Craig. Tony said you successfully limited your pours, but you still drank them at the same rate. Although I wasn't planning to drink them at the same rate. I just was trying to limit how much I was pouring. Cliffy only auctions for Justin and Brandon. Wait, what do you mean auctions? We get auction off dates with Cliff. Oh, I missed that comment. Yeah, only streaming dates. Now, if you're my Bourbon Daddy, which is a tier of my bike club, then we'll see. We might extend that offer. Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. That's so many words. Yeah, so this is Woodford Reserve. It's not single barrel as far as I'm aware. No, that wouldn't make sense. Woodford Reserve Barrel Strength Rye. Love your jam, homie. Started off with 2XO. Nice. I do like 2XO. I've had quite a few. You probably can't see it. I just picked up a couple of them. There's the Kiowa Island one, which is a South Carolina one that I'm a big fan of, so I brought that to share with friends. All right, let's go to our final pour of the night. I realized I kind of rushed through these a little bit, only because I was worried my internet was going to kick it out. So, but it's all good. It's all good. That just needs more time for our after party. So this Woodford Reserve Barrel Strength Rye is, like I said, 125.1 proof. Retails for $130, so it is up there in price. We don't have an age. I'm looking at their website now. It says pre-prohibition style rye. It's presented at barrel strength. It doesn't mention anything about age, unfortunately. So we don't have an age statement on that. So that's a little bit of a disappointment, right? Especially when I'm paying $130, I kind of want to know what I'm drinking. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be good. So let's go ahead and give the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Rye, not that one. That is the Heaven Hill Barrel Proof Rye. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Rye, a nose. Oh, very sweet. Oh, okay, wait. This is a very familiar smell. It's like a nostalgic smell. It kind of reminds me... This smell brings me back to a point, almost like, I don't want to say daycare. That's weird. That's like a weird thing. But it smells like a scent that reminds me of like elementary school or something. That is so strange. It's like a sweet, very sweet, desserty kind of note. You know what it might be? It almost has a birthday cake kind of nose. Very, very sweet white cake with lots of icing, vanilla icing, maybe some cream cheese icing. Yeah, definitely birthday cake. What on earth? Why does this remind me of birthday cake? Never would have thought that, but again, this is first impression of this, so what goes goes. But that is like a sweet white cake with a cream cheese frosting. A little bit of the spiciness, like from the rye. I'm getting a little bit of a mint, kind of, but sometimes mint and like very, very sweet are similar notes for me. Because like when something's overly sweet, it almost goes minty, if that makes sense. At least in my opinion. What an interesting nose. I'm curious what nose notes they give it. Let me look on their website. Just I'm curious what they say. They say pepper, clove, nutmeg, toasted oak, vanilla bean, dusted with delicate orange oils. That sounds like what a whiskey professional would tell you. But what Cliffy tells you is birthday cake. It smells like birthday cake. Not bad nose at all, but very intriguing for a $130 bottle of whiskey to smell like birthday cake. Let's see how it tastes though. That's what really matters. Cheers, y'all. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for saving me. That tastes delicious. The birthday cake thing, it's still lingering. It's more of just like a faint vanilla though, because this has so much going on the palate. So much flavor, has a really rich baking spice note. Not like a baked birthday cake, but like a baked, I don't know, just kind of think like a holiday kind of spice. Nutmeg a bit. I think I said nutmeg on it. Yeah, nutmeg and clove were the aroma notes. I'm getting that way more on the palate. Sweet, but it's still balanced and beautiful and big. We don't know the age, but I can tell that this is a well-aged bourbon, or sorry, I can tell this is a well-aged rye whiskey. It just has an oak backbone that just really supports this. It's a little bit of a dry oak, but I think with that such a sweet palate, it kind of actually works in its favor. That was a really nice first taste. I'm gonna go for a second. Oh yeah, that's fantastic. It drinks just as much. It drinks just as nice as some of my older rye whiskeys that I've had. I just bought a 13-year-old Indiana rye whiskey a few months back when I was in Kentucky and fell in love with that bottle. This is very reminiscent of what I love about that one. It's a little mintier. It's a little brighter and sweeter than Indiana rye, but it still has that note. It has like a bold. It has a bold oak backbone, but it has a very nice, smooth finish. It really lingers on the finish. It kind of evens out. It starts out really sweet, gets a bit like rich and oaky, and then on the finish, it kind of melds those two, and it kind of blends that vanilla with that. I don't know why I'm doing that motion. It blends those sweet vanilla notes with that delicious oak backbone. And really, the mintiness goes away. It doesn't, I will say this doesn't drink. The tip of the tongue drinks like a rye whiskey. Palate and finish is definitely more just like a really solid American whiskey. I like that a lot. Smooth, says Tony. Yeah, the rye expresses itself in more of like a pepper way, but not like sharp pepper. It's just very nicely melded with that sweetness and that oak. Really refined. Refined is a good way to put it. It leans a little bit almost like a leather tobacco on the back end. It just drinks, even though we don't know the age, it drinks like a very well-aged rye whiskey. And for that, I think this is an absolute recommendation on my part. Wasn't expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting a lot because people said good things, but I wasn't expecting to enjoy it myself this much. But Woodford Reserve Barrel Strength Rye Whiskey is, if you're a fan of those flavor profiles I told you about, you're not going to be disappointed with this one. Really, really great. Honestly, it's the first Woodford I've bought at a higher price that I felt is truly worth it. Maybe that's just me as a rye whiskey lover. I love a bold rye whiskey. I think this is a better product than the Elijah Craig rye whiskey. Now, again, that one's like a $70 bottle. This is $130. So price is consideration. That one also has an age statement. So there's that. That's 122.8 proof. This is 125.1. So pretty close in proof. We don't have an age statement on this one, but with this being a limited release, I have a good feeling that there's some older whiskeys in here that just for some reason didn't put an age statement. Maybe because they blended in some younger in there as well. But man, that's a fantastic rye whiskey. Again, did I just pick up a bunch of contenders for my 2026 top whiskeys of the year within the first week of January? I think I may have, because this one, I mean, all of these have all been fantastic. I can't wait to sip and enjoy these throughout the year, and hopefully at least 1 or 2 or 5 of them will make my top 10 of 2026, because these are some great buys. I see why people were raving about these bottles while I never had a chance to try them. You know, from the Elijah Craigs to the Woodfords to the Heritage Jack Daniels. I'd heard so many good things, but never had a chance to try them. So I'm glad that I finally tried them. And I'm hopefully you guys are glad to finally hear my thoughts on them. So that does it for this week's live stream. Thank you all so much for watching. I know I'm cutting it a little bit short for those that are watching live. I just was worried a little bit about the internet cutting out at some point during the stream. So I rushed through it a little bit. But I think I gave these all a fair first impression review. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. I might go in depth with some of these on a live stream later on. Maybe a barrel proof rye stream as Brandon recommended. Or I might review them on the podcast to do a more in-depth review. So Donald Rants just showing up right as I'm leaving. Typical Donald Rants activity. Emily says, so glad you're starting out the year strong. I think so too. Well, maybe it's not just me. Maybe it's the industry in general. Maybe whiskey is going to be, maybe 2026 is going to be the year for American whiskey. Let's hope. 2025 was great. 2026 might be even better. So, RP Shy Guy says, post-stream drunk Clifton rave party stream next. No, but I will say those of you that are at the $10 tier on the Bike Club or Patreon get access to our after party, and that's where Drunk Cliffy shows up. So after every Thursday night live stream, immediately after the stream, I go into the after party for patrons. So if anyone's curious about that, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to tell you a bit more. But until next time, this has been Bourbon Bites, whiskey reviews with a gaming twist. Cheers, and I will see you guys next week. We're back to our regular schedule, guys. I will be on next week. Let's go. Shirtless Clifton, let's go. That has happened more than once. And I'll end you with that. Cheers.